Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a match preview for Newcastle United's upcoming Champions League fixture at home at St James's Park under the lights again against Borussia Dortmund, the German giants, the yellow wall themselves. 8 o'clock kickoff this Wednesday at St James's Park. Can't wait for this. Newcastle United go into this top of the group, taking on Dortmund, who are bottom of the group. But Dortmund is still a decent side. They've still got some decent players, although they haven't quite been firing this season. We're going to get stuck right into this in a minute. Just talk a little bit about how we think the lads are going to line up, maybe some of the threats that Dortmund possess as well. And we're going to let you know what we think the game's going to go as well. So just before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, click subscribe. I'd love you to come and join us. We're over 5,400 subs. Loads of room for you guys. Like the video, subscribe, be a member if you fancy. It's only $1.99 a month, so why not give it a stab? So let's get stuck in. And how do we think the lads are going to line up? So bear in mind, we're doing this before any Eddie Howe press conference because I am shooting away on business for a couple of days. So we need to get these videos out and make sure we get them all recorded. So this is how we think the lads are going to line up based on the kind of injury news that we know of already, based off the strength of a 4-0 victory against Crystal Palace at the weekend. The lads looked dead accomplished. They looked like a Champions League side. This isn't the kind of team that Borussia Dortmund are going to want to play. They just scraped by a 1-0 win against Werder Bremen, who's sitting 13th in the Bundesliga, who aren't any great shakes as well. So Dortmund don't look like they're really firing on all cylinders. There's no Haaland, there's no Sancho, there's no Lewandowski, there's none of these great big players that they used to have in years gone by. They're just a kind of hard-working side. They're still sitting fourth in the Bundesliga on 20 points, but, they haven't really got that star power that they used to have. There's a couple of players to watch out for, but generally they're all kind of coming towards the end of their career. So I really think Newcastle got a good chance at doing them in this fixture. So how do I think the lads are going to line up? This is how I think we're going to line up. So start at the back. Sven Botman, apparently, according to Eddie Howe, he's only 2 weeks away, I think, from recovery. They obviously don't want to stretch him too far, and I think they reckon they've got enough to basically take on Dortmund without the bot man himself. So I don't think he'll be on the bench either. So I think Jamal Lascelles will continue that starting position. Do you know what? He's had an absolute renaissance as Jamal Lascelles. I wrote him off. Loads of people wrote him off. I thought he was, a bottom of the table championship type defender. But Eddie Howe has worked that magic that he works on the changing the training pitch, not the change room. Steady. That's a different thing altogether. Eddie Howe on the training ground, he has worked his magic with Jamal Lascelles, just like he's done with so many of these players. And he looks way more accomplished. He looks like a Champions League defender. Certainly did in the Paris Saint-Germain game after we smashed them 4-1. So I think Jamal Lascelles will continue. And I think obviously that steady back three around him will be the same. Fabian Shaw has looked absolutely amazing, either left side centre back or right side centre back. The way he's pinging these passes around, like he's prime bloody Cannavaro or something. It's just unbelievable to watch. It really is. I think Joe Linton will come back into that midfield as well. I think alongside Bruno and Longstaff, just like we did against Crystal Palace. This will be Joe Linton's first Champions League game, I believe. I think he was injured for the AC Milan game, as memory serves. And I don't think he played. Did he play in Paris Saint-Germain? I don't think he did. Let me know. I can't remember. I thought he was injured. And the front three, I think, will be Gordon, Isak, and Miggy is how I think we are going to line up. And I think we'll give them loads of shit. They've still got Hummels at the back, but he's getting on a little bit, and with the pace and the pure directness and dynamic that those front three possess, I think they'll give anybody a headache. And I really think we'll have Dortmund's life. I really do believe that. I think Newcastle is a team that nobody really wants to play in the Champions League, especially at home. We're capable of beating anybody, especially a depleted Dortmund side. But just talking about Dortmund in themselves, there is still a few big players there. I mean, just picking out a couple in particular. There is one player that I'm not sure whether he'd be fit for this because apparently he's out with a hamstring injury, but they reckon he might be back, any day now, really. So maybe they might throw him in off the bench, possibly. And that's Yusufo Makoko, beg your pardon, who's a player that we've been linked to from Newcastle United because he's a very, very exciting young attacking player. He's only 18 years old. And he possesses loads of skill and pace and quality, but he's just coming back from a hamstring injury. So just like Botman, maybe they won't risk him in this game. You still have the likes of Marco Reus, who's 34 years old now. He's had so many injuries, such a good footballer. He's had so many injuries, but he's still capable. He's got 6 appearances and 3 goals and 1 assist this season for Dortmund, so he's still a dangerous player. So he's definitely one that we're going to have to watch out for. And a real class player as well, a real classy guy. He stuck with Dortmund, everyone else fucked off. So you've got to say, that is somebody that you have to hold your hat up and respect, really. Emre Can in defensive midfield, he's 29. I think he was going to struggle to deal with Bruno, and certainly Longstaff's running and Joe Linton's running as well in there. I definitely think that will be the case. Obviously, Hummels, as I say, is still there. Matt Hummels is also 34 years old, so he's no spring chicken. I think, trying to mark a one-time Dortmund player Alexander Isak is going to be an absolute nightmare for him. I really do. Probably their most dangerous player, I think, to look out for is Julian Brandt. So he is a young, well, I say young, he's 27, I beg your pardon, 27 attacking midfield, 27-year-old attacking midfielder, 8 appearances, 3 goals and 4 assists so far this season. And I really think he's probably the danger man for Dortmund to look out for. If we can keep him quiet, stop him popping up in those positions, I think we could do a really good job of that. He does like to pull out sometimes to the wide side, but if he goes anywhere near Kieran Trippier, he'll be marked out of the game. And I think Bruno will probably cause him more trouble going the other way. Than obviously having to deal with Julian Brandt going attacking wise. But listen, they're no mugs. They're Borussia Dortmund. They're still a huge team. And they're still a team that you have to respect, but not fear. I think Newcastle don't have to fear anybody in this Champions League right now. So for me, I am going to go for, let's have a think. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Newcastle United on Wednesday against Borussia Dortmund. And that just continues our romp in that Champions League group for me. That could pretty much be Dortmund out of the picture, and that can more or less be us qualified for the knockout. I think we need maybe one draw away from home, possibly in Paris or over in Dortmund, which I think we're more than capable of doing. We're more than capable of even getting 3 points in those fixtures. But that's how I think it's going to go, guys. That's how I think we're going to line up. Like I said, I don't know anything about injuries. In terms of Tonali, I have heard the stories that UEFA want Tonali not to play in the Champions League, so I think he will be banned for that fixture. I think that ban will be announced probably Monday or Tuesday, and I think that'll be all decided and done with. So it's going to be Joe Linton, it's going to be Elliot Anderson in that midfield for me. And I think with Joe coming back and getting through, the game against Crystal Palace, I think Joe will start that game alongside those two midfield. That'll be our strongest midfield on paper right now. Elliot's a brilliant player to come off the bench, and he can either play in midfield or play in the attacking third as well. And I think he's a great asset to have on the bench. Louis Miley's obviously a little bit away, I think, for the glandular fever side, so he won't be playing. But that's how I think we're going to line up, guys, and I think we're going to win this game 2-1. But let us know what you think in the comments below. We always like to hear from you. And as I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, click subscribe, come and join us, like the video, help the channel grow. If you want to be a member, it's less than £2 a month. Smash that button down there, whichever one you think is best for you. We'll be back probably with a post-match for the Dortmund game on Wednesday night. Let's hope for another Champions League victory, a great night at St James's Park. How are the lads, and how are the knockout stages? We'll catch you later. Cheers, bye.